Hello everyone, this afternoon on the marketplace, President Akufo-Addo undertakes big ministerial shake-up. Among the casualties is Ofori-Atta, who has been removed from his position as finance minister, as Dr. Mohammed Amin Adam is named as replacement. In the last few minutes, we're hearing the former finance minister, Ofori-Atta, is to be appointed as senior presidential advisor on the economy. We'll dig into that. Also coming up, inflation back to an upward trajectory in January, hitting 23.5%. We'll hear from the government statistician.
On a year basis, we have seen a reversal in the decline in the rate of inflation in January 2024, as inflation dipped to 23.2% for December 2023, with a 0.3 percentage point markup. We're recording a January 2024 year-on-year inflation of 23.5%.
My name is Daryl. Kwawu. Thanks for being with us. Details coming up. Thanks for staying with us, everyone. Finance Minister Ofori-Atta has finally been relieved of his duties in the Finance Ministry in a big ministerial shake-up by President Akufo-Addo. The Minister of State at the Finance Ministry, Dr. Mohammed Amin Adam, you see him, has been nominated by President Akufo-Addo as the new Finance Minister. He takes over from Ofori-Atta, who served in the office for 7 years. The announcement was captured in the latest ministerial reshuffle by President Akufo-Addo. Dr. Mohammed Amin Adam was in February 2023 appointed as the Minister of State at the Finance Ministry after President Akufo-Addo asked Charles Edubwine to step aside following an investigation by journalist Anas Arimeyao. Anas, well, joining us with reaction to this is economist Professor Lord Mensah. Good afternoon to you, sir. Ken must go. Ken must go. Finally, Ken is out. Your reaction to this news breaking today?
Yes, Ken is indeed out, but then he set up the economy into a certain trajectory, which I can say that it will take a long time for us to get a correction. And so at least we are happy that he's out, but then the mess that he's caused is so deep to the extent that getting it corrected, will take, some time. So effectively, yes, of course, it's a relief. There's going to be kind of a fresh, mind on board, which at the end of the day, we expect, the new finance minister to tone down the momentum that the previous finance minister was moving across. But then also, we need to appreciate that for now, even if you are finance minister, you don't have, so many things at your discretion, because we have a country that we've subjected ourselves to IMF in terms of our fiscal controls and other things. So effectively, it is a relief, but then the damage has already been caused.
Yeah, in the last few minutes, just before we came on the air, we're hearing that Ofori-Atta is to be appointed as senior presidential advisor on the economy. He will also serve as the president's special envoy on international investments and capital markets. Your reaction to that as well?
I think I'm surprised we may want to keep him, within the same space. Because if you look at the finance minister over the years, it's the same finance minister that celebrated our exit, from IMF, and then it's the same finance minister who took us to IMF. So the dynamics have been so volatile around him, and he himself, his presence within, our economic space is quite, risky. So if I were to be the president, I would have, take him out of the space completely for him to go and relax. But I don't know what is happening that they will keep him around, the economy.
Well, some have said this appears to be a promotion, sort of senior presidential advisor on the economy. But Mr. Ofori-Atta seemed to have had a grip on the economy pre-COVID-19, and everything seemed to fall apart after that. Where did he get it wrong? For which reason there was so much pressure on him to step aside?
And where he got it wrong was when he increased his appetite for borrowing. Just before the COVID, that was 2018, 2017, 2018, 2019, early part of 2019, we were still under IMF. And then we exited the IMF program. At the point where we were with the IMF, our budget deficit was heading towards 6%. But then immediately we exited the IMF, which of course we celebrated with Kenke Party. Our, budget deficit jumped to 11%, which called for, huge financing. And as a result of that, we started increasing our borrowing here and there. And from that time, we've not been ourselves. Country that was piling up debt, and we keep on increasing our budget deficit. After the 11%, he moved on to 13%. And then he jumped to 15%, which was the peak. And that was when he got to know that, yes, we are in trouble. So from where I sit, I think his posture was too aggressive, to manage, an economy. And I don't blame him for that because of his background. He has more of an investment background, private investment background. And those people are normally, aggressive when it comes to taking decisions. But then if he's going out of the space, I would have advised the president that he takes him out completely rather than, still hanging around and, serving as an advisor.
Seems as though it's a game of chess, but there were real challenges when the external factors like the COVID-19 pandemic, the Russia-Ukraine war derailed economic gains. Wasn't he a victim of circumstances?
Well, I can say that he did not position the economy to receive the COVID and the Ukraine war shocks. The reason being that you cannot be in COVID and read a budget with a deficit of about, 13%. No, it doesn't happen anywhere. It's the same COVID period that he was preparing the economy to go and borrow. So I think, his kind of management posture was problematic. And that is why at the point in time, some of us were insisting that he moves out of the space so that he leaves it for someone who is more conserved, when it comes to public, financial management, to take charge.
And I guess the IMF program was the last straw that broke the camel's back, wasn't it? Anything we can commend him for during his tenure as finance minister?
Well, of course, he was more resilient when it comes to, criticisms here and there. And he proved to Ghanaians that, of course, once he takes his decision, you can't change it. But then what we can remember him of is about a risk around him. He was so inconsistent. One day he's saying this, another day he'll be saying a different thing. He mentioned that we are not going to IMF, and then we ended up with the IMF. So that inconsistency in itself, which has to do with information, uncertainty, built up some risk in the economy. And from where I sit, that is what I remember him of. I can't remember him of anything, positive when it comes to the economic management. And if you look at the past, years that he's been under management, it's like, he's put the economy at the space of the government. And, it's government that is doing all the business in this country. And interest rate has been going up. Banking sector, interest rate, lending rate has not been coming down, as expected. So, it's not something that it's something that we can remember him of. But then I would say that they are not good things. I mean, if you are managing the economy, you ensure that the economy transmits to the ordinary person and then businesses.
What do you make of his replacement, though, Dr. Mohamed Amin Adam? Good choice. And what can you say about the timing of this reshuffle when the president just has 10 months in office?
Yeah, I think this reshuffle is not to the interest of, the nation. It's more of kind of pressure at the party level. And I believe that, occupying that space can have a problem, can have impact when it comes to the elections. And that is why, probably, he's being replaced. But then the current, the appointed one, he was the deputy minister. And so he knows, the trajectory that his boss has taken the economy to. And whichever, condition we find ourselves in, things are not going to change within the 9 months that he's going to occupy the space. So he's just going to be there, caressing and, massaging, the situation and take his pay, which will come at the cost, economic cost to us anyway. And until the 9 months will come, nothing will change because, it's an economy that has been set up already. Ofori-Atta has set up the economy already by handing it over to the IMF.
All right. Thank you so much, Professor Lord Mensah, for speaking with us this afternoon. Appreciate it. Now, we are turning to inflation. Another story we are looking at for you. Inflation for the month of January has risen to 23.5% according to the Ghana Statistical Services Consumer Price Index. This is an increase from the previous rate of 23.2%, which is influenced by a sharp increase in non-food items, including housing, clothing, and transport. Food inflation, however, continued to witness a decline. Professor Samuel Kobnenim is government statistician.
On a year basis, we have seen a reversal in the decline in the rate of inflation in January 2024, as inflation dipped to 23.2% for December 2023, with a 0.3 percentage point markup. We're recording a January 2024 year-on-year inflation of 23.5%. From a trend perspective, this is the first time in the last 6 months that we are seeing a reversal of the decline. Since the month of July 2023, we have consistently seen a decline in year-on-year inflation. We recorded 43.1% for the month of July 2023, dipped to 40.1%, subsequently dipped to 23.2% for the month of December 2023, and in the month of January 2024, we've seen a reversal of the decline that we've seen in the last 6 months from 23.2 in the month of December 2023 to 23.5 in the month of January 2024. On a month-on-month basis, overall inflation since May 2023, we continue to see a swing for each of the months since May 2023. In May 2023, the rate of inflation on a month-on-month basis stood at 4.8%, declined to 3.2%, and further increased to 3.6%. And since then, we continue to see an oscillating month-on-month overall inflation since May 2023. Disaggregating rate of inflation from a food and non-food perspective, and also inflation for locally produced items and inflation for imported items. For the month of January 2024, food inflation stood at 28.7%, indicating a change to 27.1% for the month of January 2024. In January 2024, food inflation stood at 27.1% relative to December 2023, 28.7%.
All right, Senior Finance Lecturer at the University of Cape Coast, Dr. Seram Kwawu, joins us on Zoom. Good afternoon to you. It's been a while. Great to speak with you. We'll talk about the ministerial reshuffle in a bit, but first, your reaction to the latest figures from the Statistical Service. Any cause for alarm based on the January figures? Well, I'm told Dr. Seram Kwawu is frozen. We're going to try to get him back on. But as we have been pointing out, this is a rise from the 23.2% that we witnessed in December 2023. Seram Kwawu is back with us. So I was just asking, Doc, if there's any cause for alarm based on the figures we are seeing in January.
Okay. The figures that we are seeing in January is just a reflection of the celebrations that we've had into January. And so the rate of inflation, I have consistently maintained that it is not the decline that we see does not mean that prices have dropped, but rather the prices have been increasing at a decreasing rate. And so once we have seen that, what we need to look at is that we need to look at measures that will enable us to control the rate of inflation that we've had.
Yeah.
The delay in IMF bailout, a second tranche of the money might have also contributed to what we have seen.
We have been reporting a lot recently about the surge in dollar demand and its impact on the city. Do you expect that to impact on inflation going forward?
Yeah, so once there is a surge on the dollar, what we're going to say is that the rate of imports will go up. Once we have the rate of imports going up, then we are going to see a rise in the prices of commodities that we see in the country. And remember that we import most of the things in the country. Once we are importing most of the things, that is the effect that we're going to have.
Okay, and so what stopgap measures can the government put in place right now so that this doesn't escalate? Sarah Kwawu is frozen one more time. We're just discussing inflation and the latest figures, 23.5%. We're also going to take a look at the latest to do with the ministerial reshuffle. As we've been reporting this afternoon, the former finance minister is not exactly out yet. He may be out of the finance ministry, but he has a new appointment. He's a senior presidential advisor on the economy. He's also going to be serving as a president's special envoy on international investments and capital markets. And so we're keeping our eyes on that. Really wanted Sarah Kwawu to react to that. I hear you are back, Sarah. Tell us about what measures the government can put in place while we talk about inflation to deal with the slight escalation that we've seen in the month of January.
Yeah, so for government to look at the rate of inflation, which is largely due to the surge we have seen in the dollar rate, what government needs to do is to look at the duties at the ports. We need to streamline the duties at the port. Prices of commodities are going up because importers are paying so much in terms of duties. And these duties are aligned with the dollar. And so when the dollar surges, then the duties also increase. There has been a lot of taxes that have been introduced this year.
Okay.
We have the emission, we have the other bet tax and all other taxes. These taxes are not going to be paid by the sellers, the traders, or the manufacturers. They are going to push these taxes to the consumer. And so these taxes can also give rise to what we are seeing today. Per the Vice President assertion in his vision for the country, where he said that some of these taxes will be abolished.
Okay.
And he's part of the government. They should try to abolish those taxes now so that the country will benefit from them and not to wait until election or after election.
All right. I just want you to take a bite on today's breaking news story. We have been reporting about the replacement of Ofori-Atta as Finance Minister. Dr. Mohamed Amin Adam has been nominated to take his place. Also, we have been reporting that Ofori-Atta will now become the senior presidential advisor on the economy. Your take on the decision by the president and what how potentially it can impact the economy?
I am sorry to say that maintaining the finance minister as the senior presidential advisor to the president on economic issues and international investment, especially the capital market, and coming at this time is too late. Too late in the sense that it's not going to change anything. He has set the whole thing in motion. The budget for the year has been read, and what we expect is the implementation and the supervision of the budget. So maintaining the current or the outgone finance minister in the presidency is just giving him a more grip on the economy and what we have witnessed over time.
So you agree with those who say it's a promotion, sort of?
Yes, it may be a promotion. And we have failed as a country to learn from what the finance minister, the ex-finance minister, has done to this country. As Professor Lord has alluded to, he's an investment banker. An investment person, they take a lot of risk. And what we have seen in the case of Ken was that he tries to use the principle of time value of money. That says that $1 today, a cedi today is better than $1 tomorrow or a cedi tomorrow, which invariably he had collateralized our future earnings in using them to get loans that we are supposed to pay. But in investment, where you take the future money today, you invest it and get returns on that particular amount of money so that you are not losing anything. In governance, we are taking this money and we are using it for current expenditure. And that we are not reaping the needed returns that we need to get from it. And so they need to sit up. The presidency, the finance ministry need to sit up. The 10 months that is left for us to go out of the current regime for a new regime to come in.
Okay.
It may be the same people of different political party. They need to look at how they are going to do the investment that will yield the needed result. So monies that we've collected, we have borrowed, should be put into areas where those monies should be able to pay themselves. Otherwise, we will remain where we are.
30 seconds, your take on his choice of Mohamed Amin Adam to replace Ken Ofori-Atta.
It's the same crop of people, the same mindset. This is the deputy minister. He is coming to continue what the finance minister is doing.
Dr. Sarah Kwawu, Senior Finance Lecturer at the University of Cape Coast, great to speak with you this afternoon. You're watching The Marketplace. We're taking a short break. When we come back, we are going to be talking about Val's Day. I've got a touch of red. We are going to be asking how tech-based businesses are cashing in on celebrations. You don't want to go anywhere. We had some sound issues, totally ruined my intro for this segment, but rest still fits and it's beautiful. On a lighter note, today is Valentine's Day. We have a lot of cake going around in the office as well as chocolate as people show love to their friends. But how can tech spice up your Val's Day celebration? Monitoring the trends for us is lead for Eyes of Africa, Henry Kobler. He joins us. Henry, we are going to try to make this in 2 minutes. A lot of breaking news to do with the finance minister's removal from office, if you like. How is technology enhancing Val's Day celebration?
Thank you very much, Daryl. I think that usually you look at tech as being an enabler that helps push whatever it is whenever the celebrations are there. I mean, it happens during Black Friday, Christmas, and Easter. And so when it gets to Val's Day, obviously you're having a lot of people show love to their friends and their loved ones. And so you would have tech come in one way or the other. I mean, if you look at social media, I call them social media entrepreneurs, you'd realize that there's a lot of hampers flying all over. And then you'd have most of the shops who have e-commerce shops as well, pushing in some level of discounts for phones and electronic gadgets as well. And then, I mean, probably you have a lot of, even the telecoms giving some level of airtime and data packages as free for people. But essentially, you'd realize that there's a lot of discounting and a lot of packaging that goes for loved ones. But generally, if you're looking at using tech, I mean, away from everything sales and all, to show some level of love to friends. I think that the first one I could talk about is trying to do a watch party in terms of a movie using Netflix. I mean, Netflix can basically get you to have a loved one who is actually distant from you, do a watch party of a movie, which you can just do a lot of commenting and all. You could also even try doing a listening party on Spotify or most of the streaming platforms as well. I think that also enhances where you sort of share music, talk about love,
Okay.
with some of the nice musics that you can sort of have. Some people could also just gift for the gamers who are always techie and are online. You could always have some level of gifts when it comes down to the game side, where you could give them some level of games and all of those things as well. And I think that you could also just finally have a virtual date where you could send off a wine or something to your loved one and just have a Zoom and just talk about yourself. I think that could do for you.
I think I like the sound of a virtual date. It would be great for my producer, Jesse. Thank you, Henry. That's the marketplace. Thanks for watching, everyone. More news on our website, myjoyonline.com/business. We'll be back same time tomorrow.